Good evening, everyone. I know you are all tired, but this is an important subject for discussion. Yes, my name is Renu Kaur, and now for last 6 years, I have been Chancellor of the University of Houston in the state of Texas, which is a very macho state. I'm the first woman chancellor ever to be in the state of Texas, so I know the struggles that can go through. And I joined in 2008 with the goal, the promise that I made to my board as well as to the people of Houston that we need to make the University of Houston a Tier 1 institution. In 2011, we became a Tier 1 institution according to the Carnegie rankings. So I had to take a lot of very difficult steps, things that people don't think possible, but before they could figure out who this woman is from India, I think I just got my way through. So it happened, but I'll be happy to talk about any of this. But let's talk about higher education. In today's global economy and a knowledge-based society, higher education is no longer a luxury. We all know that. It is absolutely a must. It's an important tool. I see higher education as a pyramid, which has two elements. It has a base, which is a large, big base. That means every society, every country needs enough threshold of college-educated people as their population. But it also has a second element, and that is the top of the pyramid, or that is a group or the activity that is absolutely world-class. I am so heartened to see in last few years, at least there has been a very strong rhetoric about creating world-class universities in India. We have had world-class universities, IITs and IIMs. I mean, there are hardly any universities that on that one dimension, which is producing the best product, and my husband is an IIT graduate, so I can vouch for it, that they are absolutely world-class, but there has been a long gap of talking about world-class universities, so I'm very happy about that. Now, there are certain things that are very certain about higher education in India. One, that in the global education marketplace, India has a very unique position because of its size and because of its demography. The demand for higher education is serious in India. It's serious in many countries, but it's in India particularly. Secondly, that this demand is not only just today, this demand will remain very strong for many, many years to come, simply because of, again, the demographic situations. And thirdly, that India alone will have a hard time filling this demand. There is going to be a global partnership that will be needed, and it can come in different forms and different fashion. Now, this demand in India can be filled by three different ways. One, of course, is by providing access to students wanting higher education in foreign lands, and that has been going on for quite some time. I went to United States and I did my master's and PhD there from Purdue University. So that's the example of the first one. It's been going on for many years. Second way is by providing partial access to education right here in India. And that means the joint programs and collaborations on educational dimension. And that has been going on for some time as well. The University of Houston has many, many collaborations. We have many agreements. We have agreements with IITs. We have agreements with Delhi universities, Banaras Hindu University, and many other programs. We have joint degree programs. We have special programs. So all the universities have been doing that. And the third way of filling that need in India is to really come and build a campus here from foreign universities. I know there is an effort. I applaud the government for doing what they're doing, but it's only the beginning. It's only the first step. It's what is there right now at the table is not going to motivate very many universities to think about coming to India, and we can talk about that topic later on. So let's talk about the Indian diaspora and what is it possible for Indian diaspora to do with the education sector and meeting this demand. Now, it's a 25 million strong diaspora. The United States has a lot of them. I live in Houston. There's a huge population of Indians in Houston. I'm also the incoming chair of the American Council on Education, which is a group of all university presidents. In 2015, I will become chair of that organization. So I hear all the kinds of dialogues from other angle about going globally by the American universities and what they think they want and what they think they see there. But the Indian diaspora engages with the education sector in India in three different ways. There are three roles that they can play and they have been playing. The first role is really the role of a philanthropist. And this is a unique quality that US education system has, which is when people come out, they say they will invest in higher education, they're actually investing through charity. Just to give you the dimension of that, I'm raising about $120 million for the University of Houston every year. And that money goes in an endowment, is invested by a board, a separate board, and the investment from that endowment, which we have right now $600 million, actually a little more than $600 million in endowment, is used for a variety of different purposes in the university. But that's 120 million cash coming in every year. The culture of philanthropy in higher education here in India is important, and I think it is slowly developing. Because one thing about philanthropy is that you give your money and you forget about the controlling of that money or how the money is used. You can set up some dimensions, but after that, you are out of it. My husband and I, we gave last month, we gave 60 lakhs to our own university. I am president of that university. He's associate dean of engineering there. None of us have any control on that money, who this money is given to. The only direction we have is that money is given for a merit cause, and it is given to student scholarships. And that's all. After that, a committee handles all of this. I think there is a need for philanthropists as well to come in the Indian education system and invest in that manner. Second thing is that Indian diaspora can engage in terms of their own talent and skills. We know we have a huge number of education sector, and to see as to how they can contribute. Now, they have emotional attachment to India. Obviously, it's very clear. And they also have a desire to give back to the country that has given them so much. And this is a very common thing in the United States. You always give to your alma mater. So that means they have attachment to their alma mater here, but at the same time, they have attachment here to India per se, because they see in today's youth themselves, and they know what kinds of things are possible for them. How do they fulfill those dreams? However, it is right now very difficult to really start bringing lots of educators back to India. China has done that. China has started a 1,000 faculty back to China program, where they said that in 3 years they'll bring 1,000 faculty back to China. You have to create those kinds of environments. Bringing individual person here is slightly difficult. However, because you have to create a threshold, an environment where those faculty can innovate, they can function without too much of regulations around them, and too much of accountability things. I mean, they are used to accountability, but they're used to accountability of self-accountability more than the accountability by other sources. I think if we try to see how we bring 100 educators here together, I think that there is a more chance that they can come, because they know the environment can be changed and environment can be put together. The third way is, of course, direct investment in higher education. And I have a great panel here, some wonderful people who are investors themselves and who have attracted investments, who can talk more about it. But I think there is definitely a creative way in Indian education system that investors could come in today. Of course, there needs a trust, there needs a credibility, there needs to be an institutionalized form of putting money where you feel that the money is being used for the common good. Let me just put forward 3 recommendations that I gave at the Prime Minister's Global Advisory Council as well, because I think those 3 things really are important for India's education system as a whole. And then panelists, would, I'm sure, talk further about it, and they'll, put their own spin on it. First one is needs to be a culture of research and innovation in universities in India. Just the teaching part is not enough. And you can create this culture. One of my challenges at the University of Houston was, it was a research university, wasn't doing some of the kinds of things that are absolutely necessary. And I had to change that culture within that institution. But today, let me tell you, In terms of the culture of innovation, we have an entrepreneurship program which is ranked #1 or #2 in the nation. However, what we have started to do, we have an incubator, we have 75 acres of place. That's where the new ideas are vested, and we invest in those ideas. Last year, we had 5 students, undergraduate students, who we paired with the scientists from chemical engineering and chemistry department who have a technology. And we paired them together and said, you go and you develop a business plan, you find, and once you do that, you can have equity in that firm. Those students won the national competition. They have equity today in that firm. And right now, this year, there are 5 such teams that are working. Our investment from the commercialization activity or the innovation gone up from $1 million a year now to $17 million a year in just last 4 years. And what that means is when professors have their technology, we take that technology to the marketplace and we sell that product into the marketplace, and the revenue that comes from that intellectual property, that's what I'm talking about. Think about the kinds of different ways that is possible for institutions to be research oriented. And I think that culture has to come, because without that culture, it will be very difficult to bring world-class faculty here. Secondly, I think the very important thing is that the private sector has to come and help the education sector, and they can help in more than one ways. Setting up private university is a great idea, is a good idea. I think there's a lot of room there. However, just like I said, I'm raising $130 million from private sector toward the mission of the university, academic mission. I think private sector investing in public universities in that manner also can be very helpful. As a matter of fact, if you want a broader scale, large universities to really become world-class universities, that is one way to do that, because the universities already have infrastructure. My university, we had infrastructure. That's why I had to go and appeal to the private sector, to the industry, to the donors. I said, this is where we are today. This is where we can be there. This is where I need your help. And this is the result that I can give you. And I have that kind of freedom to do so, because I'm not so much controlled by the government. And as a result, we were able to put the university from tier 2 to tier 1. And I think third thing we have to decide in India education system, I think is very possible for India to do, which is to become totally a cutting edge model in the whole world about using technology to engage people and talent all around the globe in a very non-traditional way. To give you an example, if there are professors there who are living in the United States, who are living in UK or somewhere, is it necessary that we bring them, here for all the time? Or is it possible for us to really bring them here for a semester, for a summer, every year? And therefore, they are giving back to the country, and at the same time, they are giving the credibility, and they are giving the foundation, and they are really lifting the universities. They are giving confidence to investors to think about coming back and investing in India, because there is a clear-cut plan and there is a potential for those universities to become world-class universities. Let me now end by simply saying that the education revolution is definitely here. In next 10 years, this is just kind of my prediction, may or may not happen, but I feel because of disruptive technologies such as the MOOCs, the massive online open courseware, which is a free courseware, you can take from MIT, 100,000 students enrolling in it. Some of those are just few technologies, but disruptive technologies will change the face of higher education in next 10 years. Higher education may not look what it looks today. Accreditation may become different. The packaging of credit hours may become different. The whole delivery may become different. And I, as university president, think about it all the time as to how I keep my university so adaptable and flexible so that we can take advantage of new technologies. But education revolution is here, but it has to be driven by a higher purpose. The purpose cannot be just the profit or the investment or financial. The purpose has to be the common good, the social good, what a college graduate gives back to the society. So again, let me just finish saying that excellence, building higher world-class universities, bringing investment here, it's really all about accumulating the world-class talent. Whatever it takes in terms of investment, in terms of credibility, in terms of predictability, in terms of lack of regulatory environment, in terms of more enticing environment, that's where we really need to focus on, without forgetting the fact that there is a base of the pyramid, that we have to provide access to quality education to as many people as possible. Quality is important at every level, at the pinnacle as well as at the foundation of the pyramid. Thank you all very much.